Q&A for 2021. The first live Q&A for 2021. I trust you're all well. Yeah, it's been a month since we engaged, and I'm excited about today's live Q&A. Again, what else should I be doing? Excitement. Okay, so like I said in the narrative or the legend of the jingle or flyer that you received about the live Q&A, we're going to be covering an area, a topic. Actually, I shouldn't just jump in. Okay, let me suit things a bit. How are you? I trust you're well. That's something that we often don't say enough, and it's sad. But how are you keeping? How safe are you indeed in 2021 thus far? The fact that you're here gives me so much hope for the future, because you still have a future plan for your young ones. And so welcome. I welcome you to the live Q&A for January 2021. Okay? Yeah, so I was saying that as part of our engagement today, we're going to be talking about how to protect our kids from themselves. If that was confusing, I'm going to, break it down a bit. Because our kids they're really bored stiff right now with all the isolation, the remote schooling. There's a lot that they are doing online. And it's vital for us parents to keep our eyes on them. And that's why, in a view to continue the protection, we've got to open our eyes and actually engage them in the months and indeed in the year that we are in right now. It's important and vitally so that we are, going on this journey like we've mentioned enough times with them as they engage on the internet. And because there really isn't a break. Before, at least they go to school, they leave home 7, 8 o'clock for some, and they don't come back till about 4. So for that long period of time, someone else is engaging them. But now it is just you, the parent, who is engaging your young one. You're helping them go through what they're doing in school, and then you have your own work to pay attention to. So there's really no time. So there's a tendency that we leave them alone for long periods of time. And that is where the clinic feels there needs to be a readjustment. There needs to be something that we do with them or behind the scenes, just to keep the protection going. Have those discussions with them. Make sure you are speaking to them. And for us, it's vital in the clinic that happens, okay? And that's why we're here. I'm here ready to take your questions. It's a live Q&A, which means that I'm expecting that you will send questions, and then I'll answer them, okay? I do have areas, like I always do, that I'm happy to address, but it's important that you are asking the questions, okay? It's a live Q&A, all right? Please send those questions in from Facebook or YouTube. As you know, from last year, we started engaging our families, the members of the clinic, on the Facebook platform. So comments or questions that come from there will be received in the studio, and I will do my best to answer in the time that we have together. As you know, it's a 1-hour engagement. We started at noon. For those who are just joining, I can see people are coming in. Please, you are so welcome. I'm glad that you're here. It means that your kids mean so much to you. Please ask those questions. You don't have to give your name if you don't want to. Come in anonymously. And there's also an opportunity, if you want to actually give your experience on your internet journey with your kids. You have a testimony of sorts that the clinic has been a blessing to you or not. We welcome all sorts. But ultimately, I'm here to answer your questions, okay? If for a long while there's nothing happening, I'll just go on and address some of the concerns that the clinic know, but we just don't want to put it out there. We want you to tell us so that we know that we are resonating with you, okay? Please use the comments. Don't send a WhatsApp message or don't send a WhatsApp message. Make sure you are doing it online. And at the moment, I can't see any. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Someone has saved us. I was just going to say I can't see any comments. But Auntie Nora has just sent in a message. Nora, you're very welcome. Your support, needless to say, is super. Thank you for. And it's actually the journey that I've had with Nora that has helped, helped our kids in their journey. And it's because of their journey. I mean, that we're not perfect, but their journey that inspired the channel, really, because we can't have the take mentality. We've got to give back, and this is my way, engaging with the platform to give back, so that people are not making the same mistakes that we made and that we've recovered from. That is just the passion. Okay, Valerie has joined. Valerie, you're very welcome. Thank you. Those are my Asian folks, you know. Okay. Yes. She's loving it, and as you all should. And if you can't see it, I'm just going to add it so you can see the messages also. Okay, you can see that, I'm sure. Can you? I hope you can. Yeah, you can see that. Hello, my sis, Nora is greeting. And then you have also trying to see where it will fit. I think that is just about right. Let's see if it goes there. Yay. That's the OT. Oh, come on. That's the OTT in me trying to make sure that it is coming in. Let's see if I can get it back on so that we get these messages there. Okay. So that one is from Valerie. Those on Facebook, please. Oh, there you go. There you go. It's almost like you guys are reading my mind. Anytime I try to make a comment about where are my family, I get those messages come. Thank you. Okay. Let's see who this is. I'm just going to add it on. Hello. I'm guessing it's Shola. Is that wise? Yeah. Okay. How do you balance privacy with safety for teenagers online? I've got that question. I've marked it in. I'm sure I will come to it when I'm just allowing you guys communicate. Say hello to each other via the comments. If you recognize each other, do something. Okay? But it's good. It's really good to have you guys online. I really, really love that we are engaging already. And so, Shola, I'll answer that question shortly. It's a very delicate balance, by the way. Very delicate. But it is achievable. Let's see. Do I just jump in? Hello, Juanita. Good to see you. Absolutely. How are you? Okay. Do I go for it or do I not? Let me see if I can get the questions on the screen. It should just happen. I was hoping that it will come in quickly, but it's not. Just seeing if I can bring comments on. This is risky, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just trying to get the comments to show on the screen, and somehow, don't ask me, I didn't prep in time. So let me just make sure I know where I am first, so that when I come back, I'm coming back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's under that. Now I'm going to go here and see if I can bring it. Now you should be hearing me. Now you should be hearing me. Sorry. See, that's why it's not good to change things on the fly, because I had it all worked out. I'll leave it there. Okay? What I was saying when you saw my mouth moving live. God. Okay. I was just appreciating you. Yeah? You can't tell what I was or not. So I was appreciating you. I'm chuffed that you guys are on the platform. We'll go straight into the questions. Let me just go straight in. There's several coming in, so I'll continue. Edward, welcome. Good to have you on board. Let's see. Please send those questions in. Let's answer Shola's question. How do you balance privacy with safety for teenagers online? Moji Shola Akintola. It is a beautiful question. Again, welcome to the platform. A beautiful question. How do you balance it? There's so many videos that we have currently on the platform that will help you, and I will DM you directly to give you, or leave it in the comments so that others can benefit. But there are videos that we've shared on privacy and general internet safety. You're asking, how do we balance, privacy with safety? I can't dislodge both. I think they go hand in hand. Safety, you are safe as your privacy settings, if you get my meaning. On Facebook, for example, they have provision for you to harden or lock down your privacy settings. And if you do that, of course, that means that you become safer, because your privacy settings are allowing you share with people that you acknowledge, and not the other way around. There's so many who are on those platforms today who haven't locked down their profiles. It's just open for all. And so if there's junk to be sent, you're the first on the internet rogues or spammers list, because you are open season. Everybody wants to dump things at yours because you haven't tightened up. So privacy settings, and now it's almost mandatory, I'm bold to say, for vendors to encourage you to tighten your privacy settings. And once they do not take it for granted. You must go in there and tighten it. Let me give you an example. If you're on Facebook, for example, you want to be sharing things with just your friends and not the public. And there's a button that you can enable that prevents or permits that to just happen. So you're only sharing your comments and your pictures with people that you acknowledge, and not everybody, or free for all. And that's important. And so privacy is important. And then I'm looking at it from that angle on privacy settings, applying it, enabling it on all those platforms. You have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have WhatsApp. All those platforms allow you to tighten your privacy settings, and tightening them will evidently make you safer online. Now, privacy, if I'm also looking at it from in a literal sense, I've said, and we continue to say, the videos that we have, we've mentioned that the internet does not have a delete key, which means that concerning our children, we've got to train them. First and foremost, we have to be hands-on. So you're not allowing your child on this journey on their own. So you are leading and they're following. Many parents are intimidated by the knowledge of some of their kids. Intimidation should not happen, because your child's education online is a good thing, because they will understand when you flag up things that they shouldn't be doing, because they know better. But you're on that journey with them, which means that as you are communicating with them, you are telling them, son, daughter, please do not share anything that you're not prepared to be out there online. Keep all your stuff private. Only share things that you will not regret in the future for sharing. That's vital. It's important. Okay? So if you train them, then they get into the habit of always thinking, oh, before they hit the enter key or click on that button, they're thinking. And that will encourage privacy in some sense. And I said literally, because you're only sharing things that are public domain worthy. You know, like I took my exams today, and I had a tough time starting, and then I finished, and it was beautiful. Praise be to God. You shouldn't regret that at all, okay? But you can't be sharing, like I mentioned, because the theme of today's live Q&A is mostly, protecting our kids from themselves. You know, you're not going to share that your mom lives in this address. Date of birth is this. She and my dad don't get on. Or things like that. Things that are just crazy, that shouldn't be out there. It's like washing your dirty linen in the public. That's not appropriate. So you balance it by, first and foremost, having those discussions with your young ones. And again, teenagers, they're knowledgeable. So and start early, okay? For those who haven't started, I'm not suggesting that it's impossible to start now, but start early. It makes the journey a lot easier, or that dialogue or conversation a lot easier. Start early. But if you start late, there's still no hope. There's still hope, because you can still go and gain their trust. Ultimately, do as you say, okay? Don't tell them you can't do this. And I wrote down some notes that I'll share just now. That may help. Let's see. Okay. I did take some notes down. Let me see if that comes up straight away. If it does, that's good. If it doesn't, yeah, I took some notes. So I said that you've got to set limits, okay? And this is still addressing your question, Shola, I hope. It's almost like you read my notes, because I have a long list of things you can do. Of course, not ignoring what I've already said, because that's vital, okay? Super vital. But set limits. I've written here that you should not let your guards down because we're in lockdown. Many of us are so frustrated by the isolation, the not being able to do enough, and somehow we leave them to be, and that's not it, okay? So it's vital for us, vitally so, that we are setting limits. So don't stay on the computer. Don't allow them to stay on the computer for longer than necessary. You can still enforce those limits and rules that you had pre-lockdown, okay? Don't say, oh, because they're in lockdown, okay, break a leg. Don't just do anything you want to do. No, be consistent. The lockdown will finish. This will all go away, as the Bible teaches us. It will all pass, okay? And life, I can't say normal, but life, there will be some semblance of normality that will return. It should make us stronger, by the way. But don't let go. So don't just leave them to be, okay? So we have to use this period to indeed raise our game. Now we're spending a lot of time with them. We're seeing some habits that we didn't used to see when they were away from home during school time. Now you're with them almost 24/7, especially for those who are working from home. So spending a lot of time together has, or should, enhance that relationship. Be hands-on, okay? But those limits that prevent overindulgence need to be in place. And then also, I've written here, say no. You can say no, okay? Saying no does not mean you don't love your kids. In fact, I hasten to add, saying no actually confirms that you love your kids, because you have a balance, you have boundaries, okay? We're too busy and we have no time to spend with our inquisitive kids. Mom, what does this mean? Dad, what does this mean? And you are there either watching football or doing your own thing. Of course, if you're working, that's different. But have those discussions with them. Darling, at this certain time, I am working. And if I don't work, we don't earn a salary. So I'm working. Make it fun. Okay, so you've told them, you've sort of created some boundaries. I'm busy from this time. Of course, kids, being who they are, know exactly when that time exhausts. So when it's finished, they come to you. It's not that time now that you say, oh, no, no, there's another thing you've added to the list. Hence the reason why it's still a no-go area. No, don't play with the kids' emotions. Make sure you are leading by example. So if you have a 4-hour window that you are off limits, make sure you are enforcing it. If the kid comes a minute after the 4 hours, entertain them. Listen to them. The kids are inquisitive. They may have seen something on the screen. And of course, that's a discussion we have about parental controls. If they've seen something untoward or something inappropriate and they've rushed to you, you should have some flexibility in your 4-hour window to make sure you are attending to business. Your kids are first and foremost. Okay? So, but don't just brush them off. You know your kids more than anybody else. So if they come and they're just coming to moan and, get some love, that's different. But if they're telling you something that's crucial, listen to them, hear what they're saying, and say, darling, I'm still within my off-limit period. I would address this after that. But make sure you're following up, okay? So set limits, say no, and then we should learn to hold our kids accountable. You said you were going to do this. Have you done it? If they've done it, reward them. If they haven't, make sure you understand why they haven't and follow through, okay? So privacy and safety go hand in hand, but it's not just a one answer that will fit your question, Shola. You will find that it's a journey. You don't just wake up and say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. That's the end of the story. I'm boss, and that's it. No, that's not going to work. Okay, go on that journey with them. Your question is vital. But you'll find that if you're on a journey with them, nothing will catch you off guard. You will be able to address every issue, at least most issues, okay? But we must make sure that they are accountable. For example, and I'll end my answer. I think it's a very vital question, so Shola, thank you. But I'm going to end it by saying, for example, if you have a child and teenagers, we're talking about teenagers now, who has been given a link, and that link takes him or her to an inappropriate site, and you find out with the parental control tricks and the magic, I call it, that we've trained you to look out for. Let's say you find something that they've done that's inappropriate. If that child is underage, I've said it in several videos, you, the parent, are culpable for the illicit content that is showing on your screen. The fact that you are the bill payer even makes that more so. So you have to make sure that they're not getting all this rogue information or illicit information onto your screen and you are paying the consequences. They have to be accountable. Don't go here, and make sure that if you find that anything has happened, there are repercussions. Okay? I'm not saying you should go and smack them, but there are repercussions. And those repercussions, they must be, meaty. Like no internet from certain time to certain time. You've lost that liberty until you can prove yourself. Okay? Yes, it may feel like a denial of sorts, but you must be accountable. I've said that allowing kids go haywire on the internet, it's a privilege. It's not something we just allow you do. You've got to prove yourself. And the moment you prove yourself, the hands-on ones, are the only ones who can determine when you're ready. But you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable for every click of the mouse. Every place you visit, you must make sure it is the correct and the right place to be. So teach them accountability. Teach them that if they watch illicit stuff online and the vendor, the internet provider, sends some legal thing, that it's the family that will suffer. And if the family suffers, the internet is out for you. Okay? But we don't want it to get to that. So that's why I'm encouraging that. But I think I've sufficiently, I hope, I've sufficiently addressed that question. I don't know why I'm getting a phone call, but it can't be any of you because I've told you already to to send it via the comments. So I'm not going to answer. Okay, please call back if you can hear me. Let's quickly go to other questions, and there are many. Okay, let me see if I can get that. So again, Edward, hi. Shall I hope that's answered your question? Please acknowledge. And if you want more information, of course, you know how to reach me. Send some comments, on YouTube or Facebook, and let's engage. I'll be happy, more than happy, to take you to that next level. Okay. Let's see. Let me just bring this question in and see if I can read it. In the context of lockdown, Smith. Oh, Alamo, God bless you. Good to see you. The context of lockdown, where kids are mainly homeschooling remotely, how do you ensure their screen time is limited, just not from safety angle, but their well-being for staring at the screen? Well, it's clear, Smith. You know exactly what you're doing. And for those who don't know what that question is about, screen time is crucial. We've mentioned the documented risks of spending too much time on the screen. We'd rather it's a bigger screen than a small screen, but that's again for the medical people. But ultimately, there are tools now, and I couldn't be more specific. There are tools now that will aid you, help your kid spend less time. Let's assume that it's on the phone. Again, if you're on the Android platform or the Apple platform, they have Google Wellbeing. There are videos on the portal that will give you more information. But there are many tools out there that help you manage screen time. I don't think there is so much you can do during school time, which is the homeschooling. But I think, if I'm not wrong, the teachers are aware that they need to introduce some breaks in between to help maintain the health of the eyes. And the mind in general. Just staring at the screen all day long can't be good. So I believe, I may be over zooming, but I go to school, so I know that there's a push to allow for some variety, which means, take a break. You take a break, 10-minute break, and come back. So there's that, back there. And that can be healthier for your eyes. For that school time, there's no real control. If it's out of 4 hours, for example, 2 hours would be spent looking at a screen, because teachers are encouraged to introduce that the downtime that helps a refreshing of sorts. But the bits that you control, the phone, the smartphone, and all that, you can enable, and I'm going further now, you can enable screen time on the Apple platform, and the Google platforms. You can do that now. I've not mentioned Windows because I don't even know whether those exist anymore. But the Android and the iOS platforms allow you to enable them. There's Google Wellbeing and there's Screen Time for Apple. If you enable those and play around with it, get a feel, you'll find that access to certain things that the kids spend a lot of time on can be either disabled, reduced for a time, so that they are, sort of throttling access to the screen. Because of course, if they can't use the screen to watch movies, for example, on YouTube Kids or YouTube, they're not going to be encouraged to take the phone. So that's the phone out of the way for a certain time. And if they know that it's going to be re-enabled at a certain time when they want to do it, then again, you're adding some flexibility or variety, I should say. And that's a healthy thing. So Google Wellbeing for Android and Screen Time for Apple. Those will help you manage. The school bit, which I think is your main question, I'm just trusting that my assumption about teachers introducing downtime and allowing kids go for breaks so that they're not having eye fatigue and all that. I'm hoping that that's in place. If it's not, you as a parent can enforce it. They do have breaks, and make sure they're not spending the break still on the screen. This is what they do. You know, I think we as parents, we even do it. In fact, we have our lunch looking at the screen. You know, so we're talking about kids, and that's healthy. But what about parents? We spend too much time looking at the screen. So we've got to introduce the breaks. You know, go out for a walk. Lawrence, you should say. Go out for a walk and come back after. Just introduce variety. You know, when you're having lunch, stay away from the screen. Sit down somewhere away from the screen. And when you're ready to come back, you come back as normal. Okay, so it cuts both ways, parents and young ones. Make sure you're spending less time. Again, if you go to the portal, there's a video on screen time on there. Just search, you see it, screen time. There's a specific even video on screen time and Google Wellbeing. Those things are all vital. If you read it, you should get information on what you can do extra. Okay? Smith, I hope that's answered your question. Thank you. And it's good to have you on the platform because I know you do a wonderful job with the young ones. And empowering you means I'm also indirectly empowering the young ones. So kudos to you, bro. Thank you for your support. Okay. Let me bring, I think there's still questions. Let's see if I can bring this on. So you should say, I absolutely enjoyed that response, Cyber Pastor. Thank you very much. Very timely advice too. Thanks, Shola, too, for the question. Okay. Needless to say, I'm always chuffed to do that. Thank you for that wonderful encouragement. Come on, guys. If you're not going to ask, I'll continue. So that answered Shola's question. Shola, you're a celebrity now. You asked a very beautiful question. Of course, and so did Smith. But your question, the answer to your question lasted longer. You still haven't acknowledged whether it's answered your question. And that's the thing with our family members. They're multitasking. Well, the good news is that you can see it. You can replay these comments later. Or indeed watch the video later. If you have a question also, now or in the future, please use the link that you see on the screen. I told you that we are on Facebook and Instagram. And so we encourage dialogues from there too. I believe the question from Shola came from Facebook, so that's okay. That's what I said when I switched screens. Okay, so Smith, I hope that's answered your question. Yes, he says. Let's see, so that you can see too. Yeah, thank you for the answer. Okay, good stuff. All right, so I go back to my notes. Let's see, how are we doing with time? I've been speaking quite quickly. You guys have, I don't know whether you've noticed, like I said at the end of last year, that we'll be doing a lot of short videos, 1 minute max. Can't do anything longer than 1 minute, really. And they'll just touch areas that I feel will resonate and just get you going and sort of get those juices out there. I started that at the beginning of the year, and I think we've done 4 or 5 thus far. And for me, it's vital that I'm communicating. So the live Q&A will contain a lot more of, will give us a lot of time to engage more, you know. So I'm not spending long minutes to speak to you like I used to do last year. I'm just doing shorts now. Every week, in fact, I could do 2 a week even, but at the moment it's still 1. The idea is just to make sure that I'm ticking things along, and then you can save all your questions. So I'm not just sharing information that may not be relevant to you. So what I'm hoping that we can do is, if you have a question and you've sent it via email, or you've sent it, let's say, via text or comments, I will address those questions in the shorts. If I don't feel that it's sufficient time, then I'll bring it to the live Q&A where we spend a lot more time. Okay? I hope that meets your approval. Yes, Shola acknowledges that the answer I gave answered her question, and you can see it there yourself. Good to know. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to my notes. So I've said that we should hold our children accountable. Very important. Okay? You're accountable for what you do online. You may be underage. You can tell them this. But if you get into trouble, it affects me. If it affects me, because it's my pocket, it will affect you indirectly. It also affects reputation. You know, what stops a vendor, an internet vendor, assuming that illicit content that's found on the computer or that's streamed through the computer has been done by the adult and not the child? So there's a reputational issue there. So those are dangerous things. So we must speak to our young ones and tell them, or explain to them that there are implications, you know, and that's why they must be accountable. It's very important. Okay? Let me see. I've seen something else. So I will check your site for more videos. Actually, check. That's good. You can check the site. That's www.familycyberclinic.com. And you get links to the YouTube portal. So I would say if you go to the YouTube portal, which is my Love and Joy, if you go to the YouTube portal directly, just go to YouTube and do a search. In fact, if you go to YouTube/Family Cyber Clinic, you should just be able to get onto the platform. Okay? If you get onto the platform there, you see videos, you see playlists. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, we want you to be part of the family. Please subscribe. And those who are online, I've seen several people online already. Please make sure you're liking this video. I say it, and I say it as raw and candid as I can. I need your support so that the information that I'm sharing will reach other people. If you don't engage by liking, sharing, or even subscribing, and of course I would love you to subscribe, we're not able to get this content to other people other than the people who are online now. And I don't want that. I want to reach. That's the power of technology. I want to reach others. Of course, as I keep reminding us, that later down the line, when we are prepped up and we are, the environment is favorable enough to monetize the channel, because of course, everything that we do has been purchased and they need to be maintained. If that support comes, it will only come by your subscriptions. Okay? So I'm only able to get to that layer. I don't need it now. Well, I do. Don't mess it up, Lawrence. Of course, I need your support, you know. And of course, as we go, and the more we subscribe, the better for the channel. The channel will survive regardless, by the special grace of God. But ultimately, I want us to be a platform that people can go to. That is only achieved by engagement. Okay. So please like the video, subscribe, and make sure you're telling your friends and family about this channel. That's why, Shola, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll be checking. Like the video and let your friends and family know. All right? I've written here, set expectations. That's vital. Setting expectations is vital. Do as you preach. Don't tell your kids, don't spend too much time on WhatsApp, and then you are in the other room doing exactly that. Yes, parenting is a privilege. But if you're asking your kids to do things that you are suggesting is dangerous for them, and they see you doing it, it doesn't flow. Okay? So lead by example. That's all I'm saying. Lead by example. Spend less time on your mobile phone. It's a screen on a small phone, a small device. It messes up with the eyes. So don't spend time on it. Be creative with your time. If especially during the lockdown, be creative. Don't binge on box sets. Mix it up is all I'm saying. Okay. Rant over. So set expectations, very important. Now, I may have alluded to it. I may have said it earlier on. There's this mentality that I'm finding in the generation, the younger generation, where they have a take mentality. They're taking, they're consuming. Yeah, that consumer mentality is not good. There has to be a balance. In life, there has to be a balance. So don't just be in the take or consume mode. Also give. Okay? Get your mind reset, if you like, to start giving. Be creative with your time. Start a blog. If you're taking, let it be that you're taking information so that it will buttress your own information, so that it gets you the confidence required to start your own thing. Okay? Of course, I'm not saying everybody is cut out for this, but ultimately, let's give back. Let's not just have that consuming or consumer mentality. And the reason why it's on here is because, as you guys know, guys and girls, as you know, the theme for today's live or this month's live Q&A is protecting our kids from themselves. Now, if you are binging on the internet, for me, that's a take mentality or take approach to your internet journey. If that's all you're doing. So giving, I've just given an example, start a blog that will encourage kids. You could use your blog to share the dangers associated with social media, your own thoughts. Let it be accessible to a private group, just your friends. But you're giving back to your friends. I'm not saying that you should open it up early days to the public, but you will grow to that level where you feel a lot more confident. But remember, I mentioned that it has to be public worthy so that you don't regret it. The internet does not have a delete key. Okay, so start giving back. All right? So if you're consuming information, make sure that you're also giving. Okay? And you'll find that if you're doing that, there will be a healthy balance with how much time you spend on the internet. Okay? There'll be no overindulging. And that's key. All right? Another advice that I've written here that should help, especially with the kids who are homeschooling and parents who are balancing, doing homeschooling and doing working full time. Make sure that chores are reintroduced if they've been binned for whatever reason. The fact that you're at home, a child is at home during on a weekday, does not mean that all you're doing from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock is school. The teachers understand that you're at home. You're at home and there are chores to do. Of course, I'm not going to go and tell you, I'm not encouraging you, the parent. I need to take some liquid. Please forgive me. Thank you for allowing that. I'm not encouraging that on a school day you're telling the kids to go and mow the lawn. No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm only saying that if there are chores to do, there are chores to do. Just make sure you're balancing it. There are chores that are set for the weekend, but now that they're at home, make sure that you're mixing it up. That introduces variety. As I said, I'm not asking for any labor-intensive chore. I'm just saying get them, and it helps the mind. I'm no psychologist, but I love kids. I love families. So I just want something that will help things tick along, So if there are chores to do, fit it in. That will allow, like, if the kid has some downtime, rather than, I'm not schooling, I go and type on my smartphone So you're moving from one big screen to a small screen because you've been given a break. No, the chores to do, perhaps, let's say they give you 10 minutes and there's a little chore that you can do for 3 minutes. Just do it. Mix it up. Chores help the grooming process. It helps kids grow. It helps instill discipline. It helps, what other thing can I add? The accountability that we're talking about. The privilege that you're soon going to give those young ones. Allow them do their own thing, but they have to run through the process. And chores, just doing things around the house and getting thanked for it. Make sure you thank them. It helps. Okay? Again, we're doing things, or rather we're discussing today things that will help protect our kids from themselves while they engage online. So it's vital that we're mixing it up. That's where I'm going with that. Okay? I've written here, set and follow through with consequences. Many of us don't see things through. We only threaten. If you, and you don't do anything. The kid goes to sleep hearing, if you, and laughs. I hope you're not one of them. If you're a young person online right now, make sure you're not frustrating mom and dad. But ultimately, we need to see things through. So if we've said that the consequences for doing A, B, C, D, if A, B, C, D is done, those consequences should trigger. There's no easy way to explain that. They must trigger. I've said it and I'm repeating myself so you don't think that I'm this killjoy. No. If you know the right thing to do, scripture tells us, and you don't do it, it is a sin. So if we have our child do something we've assigned consequences to, and we don't apply or allow those things to be done, the consequences, then we're confusing the child, one. But two, more importantly, we're holding back vital counsel or vital discipline that's important and needed for the growth of that young one. So don't hold back. See them through, okay? Don't think that you're loving your child because you're not disciplining them. I couldn't be further from the truth. If you love your child, you will discipline them. Again, I don't want this to be a Bible study, but ultimately, that's what the Holy Scriptures teach us. So let's make sure that we are, one, doing as we preach. Two, seeing through when consequences are expected. So if you set some rules and they're broken, consequences trigger. That's a balanced, disciplined life. Then we have three, set expectations. Have our children, refresh their minds or reset in some instances, and let them have a give mentality rather than, or giving mentality rather than a take mentality. Let them consume content and then now use it to inform others and bless others. Of course, not to the public, to a private group. That's just giving back, okay? Let them have that mentality too. We should hold our children accountable. Learn to say no. You say no and love your child. It's not only when you say yes that you love your child. And then set limits, okay? That was my own stuff, and I'm glad that it helped address some of Shola's questions, and rightly so. I'm still waiting for questions. There are no more. Again, while I'm waiting, at least I'll take another sip. Come up with those questions. Any question. And again, remember, if you want to just come online and say hi, ping me via the comments and I'll bring you in and you say a quick hi. We only have 11 minutes. I'll bring you in, and if you're on there, if you're online, just let me know if you want to come into the broadcast so that everybody will see you and me, you and I in some areas. I actually haven't prepared for it, but it'd be lovely to have you. I love the live thing. Is anybody else on Facebook? Although I've confirmed that Facebook is working because it's working. I spoke to Shola. But all the other folks are from YouTube. Yeah. They're from YouTube. So guys, come on. Ask the questions. It's a beautiful time. Beautiful way to start the year. As I said, send in anything that you want me to share. Anything that you want me to share in the shorts that you feel will bless another family. If you can't do it, in fact, you can explore the giving mentality with your kids and yourself by, if you can't do it, give me the information and I'll share it with the world. Okay? Because I have the platform to do so. And then, God willing, at the appointed time, you will be bold enough to do the same thing. But don't keep that information to yourself. You know, I learned so many years ago that you don't wait until things, well, I don't want to preach, okay? But ultimately, if you have something to say, trust God to empower you to say it, okay? We all have a role to play in this journey, especially in the journey of our kids. And the platform is big on making sure that we're true to ourselves, okay? That we're telling the truth and saying it with the backdrop or with a backdrop of love. We love the family, we love kids, and we want to protect them, but protect them from themselves. Because they're very naive, like I shared in the last short. They're quite naive, vulnerable even. And the attackers, the spammers, are just out to go for the jugular. And they don't care. They don't have a heart. The rogues, I mean. So they don't care that they're affecting a kid, affecting a family, or just messing up things. So we as parents can come in. But you want to come in informed. You want to come into your young one's internet journey informed. Because nothing could be worse than giving your young ones the wrong information. So the platform exists to inform and empower you so that you can empower your young ones. And if there are any questions, I'm always available to answer them. Okay? We have a few more minutes. It's been a blast. I don't pretend that Saturday is a difficult time. Thankfully, during the lockdown, we really don't go out much, if at all, only for work, essential travel. Do what they say, okay? And again, I don't have this opportunity to say this all the time, so I say it. I see how people wear masks. You know, the government says wear a mask. We see the value in wearing a mask. I see the value of wearing a mask, but wear it properly, okay? Wearing it on your chin and just to cover your mouth is not the right way. Let it cover, and I don't have one to demonstrate, but let it cover from your nose down. God is working, okay? But let's not be careless. Let's not take him for granted. The word that comes to mind is folly. Folly. Let's be wise, okay? I think someone has dropped another question. Yes, Valerie has. I think we can squeeze it in. We only have 6 minutes, I think. Let's see. The two questions asked have been quite relevant to me. Thank you again. How do we encourage them to have a give mentality, and how can this be practicalized? In fact, Valerie says this, and she has a blog. Valerie has a blog. It's okay. How do we encourage them to practicalize this? I got it, darling. I got it first time. Yeah. I was going to say monkey see, monkey do, but I don't know how appropriate that is on a public domain or public platform. But you're leading by example. You already have a blog. And of course, if you share that blog, what you do, what inspires you, you're giving, you know? And it doesn't all have to be tailored to the marketplace, the secular. Like you, Valerie, you have a blog that is part of a ministry. And that's your passion. So if you're always thinking of others, you know, you have high regard for others, then there's a tendency you want to give. You feel the truth needs to get out there, so you're giving giving in that sense. And that mentality rubs off on them if they see what you do. So bring them in on that journey. Show them how to blog. And they could do, as I've shared again on the portal, I've shared some kid tools or application, mobile apps that the kids can use to practice before they go to the bigger blogs, okay? They can practice how to write little blogs using child or kid appropriate applications, mobile applications. Search those on the portal to help you along, okay? I hope that helps, but it's good to know that it's ticking your box. Zachary has asked a question, and he's asking just a question: what are your thoughts on the security of social media chat rooms, and how can we ensure that our communication is encrypted online? I have a video, Zachary, and I also have a short. There's this hoo-ha about people leaving WhatsApp because they are asking us to re-sign, looking at the time, re-sign privacy agreements and all that, and they're leaving WhatsApp to go to another. Easily, and I'll throw this in, we can continue the conversation on via the comments, but ultimately social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Telegraph, there's another one that has just skipped my mind, but there's so many out there that have end-to-end encryption, which means that from your phone, your device, to the other device, the traffic is encrypted. And by encrypted, I mean it's protected from, the middleman snooping or sniffing your information, or basically open text like it used to be in SMS. Still is, actually. If you send a text between another person via SMS, it's clear text. Any rogue can capture that information. But via social media platforms like WhatsApp and the others I mentioned, that information is encrypted end to end. So they tell us anyway, which means that it cannot be interrupted or stolen in transit. And that's important. So as long as you are, let me just look at that question again. We only have 3 more minutes, but it's a beautiful question. Just a question: what are your thoughts on the security of social media chat rooms, and how do we ensure that? Okay, chat rooms, same thing. There's so many chat rooms. You have to do your due diligence and make sure that you're only getting onto the right chat rooms, and that you maintain. If you look at the privacy settings of those vendors, they would tell you whether end-to-end encryption is enabled. They're mandated to with GDPR. So it's important that you read privacy settings on all vendors' platforms to make sure that that information is encrypted. I generally don't do chat rooms as much. The chats I do are via the common platforms like WhatsApp and all that. But if you are to use a chat room, whatever the vendor is, make sure you're looking at the terms and conditions. You're looking at the privacy settings, where they are mandated to tell you what they do with your data and how they're protecting you from the man-in-the-middle attacks. That's a lot of technical jargon for those who are on the platform, but ultimately it protects you. But look at the terms and conditions and privacy settings. Guys, it's been a blast. I am a sticker for making sure that we stick to the time. We've spent, just looking for the outro, we've spent a lovely time together, and I hope that you will keep safe. I keep saying that, and for me it's important that we're staying safe, okay? We're keeping our young ones safe also. It's vital that we do that, and that we're not taking things for granted. Please protect them from themselves while they engage online. Please, it's important. Protect them. Cause them, the overindulgence is a serious matter. Smith mentioned it. Screen time, eye fatigue, all those things. Variety, take breaks. Make sure you're going and coming, and make sure you're mixing it up. But please take care of them. All right? You take care of them, you're doing my job. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this content, and make sure you're telling your friends. They can watch this video later on, so don't think it's too late, but share this information with your friends and family. Until next month's live Q&A, I'm your host, Lawrence Edem. God bless and goodbye.